Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the show. And what a day I'm having, and I'll explain exactly why and what happened in just a little bit. But before we get to that, we're going to be talking about Ridley Scott. He's got a lot of stuff going on with Alien, and he said he's going to do another one. And right now, the hype with Gladiator 2, is he the right guy to do it, or should they stick with Fede Alvarez? We'll discuss that. There's so much happening. So it'll be myself. It's John Roca. It's the show. Let's do it. Here we go. All right, welcome back to the Kristian Harloff Show. And on Monday, who joins me each and every Monday, John Roca. What's going on, John? How you doing?
What's going on, my man? Good weekend. Commanders whooped your Giants.
Yeah, well, that's not hard to do. You know, it's the silly thing is that I actually
Did you watch?
I was gonna watch, but I was actually invited to go.
Oh, nice.
But I couldn't do it in time, so I wasn't able to make it happen. So anyway,
one of the bars, did they invite you?
No, I was at the yeah, exactly. I was at dinner with a friend. He's like, "Hey, I got tickets tomorrow. Would you want to go?" And we just had everything planned, so I couldn't go. All right, so I want to discuss this. As people saw, well, live people we're going to see, because we'll edit this thing out, that
Sure.
there was just a whole bunch of technical issues. Here's what happened this morning. So I have a Rodecaster, and I have a Rodecaster 2, which is one of the good ones.
Yeah.
So I walk in, and I've been having this issue with it where, for some reason, the Rodecaster 2, they made this button where you have to push the thing in order for it to turn on. And for the longest time, it was taking a second. It was like it kept like delaying. Like, why is it taking so long? Why is it taking so long? Today said, I'm not working. So for a half an hour, I'm pushing the button, and for 40 minutes, not working. 50 minutes, not working. I was like, damn it. So I, luckily enough, had the old Rodecaster that I put together, but I got to change all of my settings. So clearly all this stuff, and I'm looking at them, and now, because I'd gone through these issues before, I'm like, oh, I know exactly what it is. So and nothing's working, and the audience like, can't hear you, and I'm seeing my levels. I'm like, what's happening? And this was a StreamYard setting that I had to fix the last minute. But this freaking Rodecaster, I mean, so much so, I put it, for, if anybody gives a shit, I put it as an Amazon wish list, as a new one, because I'm going to scrap the old one. I'm going to get rid of it. I put it as an Amazon wish list. If people want to get a Christmas thing, they can. If not, they can tell me to go fuck myself. That's totally fine. But I put it in there, and it's in the wish list. But it was a disaster. Now, because of that, some people will be happy to hear this. Others will be sad. For the time being, until we get a new Rodecaster, Big Balls is dead, because I can't do it on this one. You said thank God.
Yeah, we're not doing that again. We're putting balls on my face. Let me tell you that right now.
I was talking about that the other day, and I was like, you swatting him away might be one of my favorite things that's ever happened on this show. Dodging Big Balls. And now they're confiscating, squirrels and chipmunks from New York places. So I wanted to hear his opinion on it, and now he can't. So
this may be why they might have euthanized him without you knowing.
Yeah. So until we get a new Rodecaster, that's why I put it on. That's why I put it in the wish list, because until we get a Rodecaster, Big Balls will be Gonski, and he will even be Gonski for the Capes and Cowls comic book. I gotta get him somehow.
Oh yeah.
We have a lot to discuss, man. Like, they saw that report. The box office obviously was big, and before I even do that, Friday I'm releasing, John, we're doing, my friend Sam and I, we did a first time watch for her for the Tom Hardy, Joel Edgerton Warrior.
Yeah, Warrior's great.
Dude, I'm telling you, it's so funny. I've seen that movie. This is probably the 5th or 6th time I've seen it.
Yeah.
I was still watching it as if I'd seen it for the first time. The emotions hit me it was incredible, and I became obsessed with it again. That's a movie. It just gets better and better and better every time you watch it. And the soundtrack's amazing.
Yeah, well, I think as you and I get older as men, there's a lot of things in that movie that speak to us in ways that maybe wouldn't have spoken to us when it first came out. You see Tom Hardy, what he's navigating and dealing with, and the military aspect of it all certainly appeals to me. But here's Joel Edgerton, who's trying to, make more money for his house, for his wife, for his family, get further ahead, putting himself in this position to do these things. And then they have a father who has, who's dealing with his demons of alcoholism and what he gets put through. So there is so much to enjoy about this movie as you're watching different stages of men in their lives and what they're experiencing. So yeah, it's great.
Sam cried like 5 times.
Oh wow!
And it was like, and she had never heard of the movie,
Mm.
and I won't ruin it for what she says like afterwards, but it's like it is probably the best reaction I've done on the channel so far with both her and I together. And
great.
It comes out Friday. It's really a great movie. I've been obsessed with it. I'm listening to the soundtrack again. I want them to do another one. I know they talked about Gavin O'Connor talked about doing a series. He said he thought about a sequel, but didn't know how he would tell that story. And said that they had a series they're actually working on, like 2021.
Yeah.
And the only thing I'd love to see, though, if they are going to tie it all to the brothers, is that you should have like, Brendan, Joel Edgerton's character. You should have him like call a match or something.
Oh yeah.
Should come in and be like, yeah, he won the tournament like 13 years ago or 14 years ago, whatever it is, and they should do it. So anyway, and then there's other stuff. I'm going to see. Are you seeing Gladiator 2 on Thursday?
Yeah, Thursday, Gladiator 2. Bring it up, man. Denzel.
It's supposed to be really, really good. People are loving it. I'm excited to see it, but there's a lot of press right now, and you got Ridley Scott talking, and he's talking not only about Gladiator 2, he's talking about Alien.
Yeah.
We got him again talking about Alien, and thought he was kind of done with it, but doesn't look like it. Mark Cassidy says, though we have very little to go on, legendary director Ridley Scott has revealed that he is developing a new Alien movie for 20th Century Studios. Details are pretty much non-existent right now, but The Hollywood Reporter indicates this will be a complete separate project to the Alien Romulus sequel that's currently in the works. 20th Century's Steve Asbel recently confirmed that director Fede Alvarez is in talks to helm a direct sequel to Romulus, that they would continue the journey of the survivors to the previous movie, Rain Carradine and her android brother, Andy. We're working on a sequel idea now. We haven't quite closed our deal with Fede, but we are going to, and he has an idea that we're working on. The 2 survivors, Rain and Andy, played by Kaylee Spaney and David Johnson, were real highlights of the film. And so I always think of it like, wow, where do people want to see them go next? We know there's going to be aliens. We know there's going to be great horror set pieces, but I fell in love with both of them, and I want to see what their story is. Asbel also revealed that a new Alien vs. Predator movie is likely to happen down the line. Scott helmed the original and what many would consider the best Alien movie before returning to the franchise to direct Prometheus and the follow-up Alien Covenant. The later movies do have their fans. They took the word generally viewed.
Yeah.
Okay. As disappointments. We're not sure if Scott is planning to step behind the camera for his new film, but we wouldn't rule it out. The filmmaker shows no signs of slowing down at 86, and the upcoming Gladiator 2 is being hailed as his best work in quite some time. Not a perfect organism, but despite an over-reliance on retreading over old ground, Alien Romulus does mark a thrilling return to form, and is surely destined to be ranked as the best third. That's a review. Okay, that's it. All right, so you hear this, and the first thing I would start with is the comments about both Kaylee and David in the roles, and I don't disagree with the producer at all that it's sure you're going to get aliens, you're going to get space, you're going to get all that, but it's about, do you care about the characters enough to want to see them again? My answer to that is a resounding yes. I loved both of them.
Yeah.
I'll tell you right now, I would rather see a Fede Alvarez sequel than Ridley Scott returning to this world. I didn't like Prometheus. I didn't mind the last one, the other one after that, which I'm probably in the minority that I like that one better than Prometheus. But they're not going to be included in the top 3 best. Fede Alvarez is though.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. Fede should come back to do his sequel. I don't want to see anything more from Ridley Scott in this world. I mean, he's had so many chances to try to do these movies, and he's never matched the real artistry of the original, right? And I get there's a lot of people who, oh, there's so much explored in Prometheus. There's really, incredible commentary about the existence and humanity. Yeah, but it's not that interesting of a movie. And these characters make some of the dumbest decisions in certain moments that you're just like, yeah, but you're undercutting the intelligence of the film half the time. It's frustrating. And then the other ones, Covenant, whatever, they just weren't that interesting, and I do love what's his Fassbender in the film as David. I do like him in the movies, but everything else around the movies has just been so kind of tired.
Forgettable.
And look, I know people get upset at this, and you can if you like, but he's old now. And I like younger voices coming in to give it new blood, new life, and bring more interest into the project. We've seen this numerous times where old directors revisit their stuff. And I was watching a piece of Godfather Part 3 yesterday on Pluto, and I was just thinking to myself, my God, you didn't capture this magic at all from the first two films. And sometimes you can't go back to the well again. And Ridley's had numerous shots at this and has not done it well. Keep it with Fetty. This is the way to go. It'll just get tired with Ridley. No offense to anybody.
No, I'm with you. And look, they are keeping it with Fede because they're still giving him his sequel. Just let it stay with him is what you're saying. And I don't necessarily disagree with you. But to play devil's advocate, I would say maybe Ridley Scott feels the same way. And he goes, look, I wasn't kind of feeling like I wasn't in that zone I'm in right now. I just did Gladiator 2 and he's feeling it again because he hit his stride. He knows what, because people, if this movie is awesome, I can't even tell you how many people I said, why are they doing Gladiator 2? Yeah, nobody cares about Gladiator 2. You heard that so many different times. I've always been excited to see him return to that world because there's just so much history there and what they could do. Yeah. So I'm actually very excited for the film, and then the reviews seem to be really good. So the devil's advocate side of it is, what if he's like, okay, look, I didn't do those movies maybe the way I wanted to. Yeah. I'm going to go back. I liked what Fede did. I'm going to go back and make a smaller movie in the way that I did in 1979, Alien, and I'm going to try to do that again. Now, the chances of all of these older guys who complain about the movies, though, they're the ones who are overspending more than anybody.
Yes.
It's crazy.
And not delivering good product. And Ridley's included, by the way.
Napoleon
was terrible. Yeah. Even with the extra 40 minutes, it did not help the film. A lot of people don't like House of Gucci. I liked House of Gucci for what it was, but I know a lot of people didn't like
that movie. I liked it.
Yeah, nobody went to see The Last Duel, even though I think that's one of the best efforts.
That's a good movie. I agree with you. I like that movie.
Yeah. All the money in the world is good, but Alien Covenant isn't. The Martian is good. Exodus, Gods and Kings is horrible. The Counselor is terrible. Prometheus is okay. Robin Hood wasn't that good. Body of Lies is good. Gangster. So he is a massive hit or miss director.
Right.
And I think he's had two shots with Prometheus and Covenant already to do Alien. So, but it's Ridley Scott. No one's going to tell him no if he wants to go back.
But if I'm Fox, I'm saying Fede did it for like 60, 70 million. Can you do it for 60, 70 million? He's like, no, I can do it for 200. And it's like,
yeah, exactly.
Scratch your ass.
260.
Yeah, it's like, no. It's like, I understand Gladiator 2. All right, let's take the shot with it being expensive. I get it. And I guess that just transitions us into, I'm not even going to show a graphic for it, but it's Mission Impossible. The last one has kind of ballooned up to like 400 million or something like that. It's like, what's the excuse? COVID? That's the excuse was last time. It was COVID.
Yeah, I imagine it is COVID, delays, what have you. But yeah, I agree with you, Kristian. There's no reason a Mission Impossible film should be $400 million. And look, that last one clearly underperformed for any number of reasons. People, although I liked that movie, it certainly underperformed. So you're like, well, why would you spend 400? And if you are, I think this is the last hurrah, right? I mean, this is okay. We spent all the money. We've made so much money. You deserve it, Tom. Maverick made 1.2 billion. Okay, fine, go. But this might be the last one, honestly, because he is showing his age. And so, but it's way too much, dude. There's no way $400 million. It's insane.
It's true. And I think it's way too much. And you can't talk about a movie, whether or not the movie's good, if it hasn't come out yet. Someone said in the chat, say, why are we talking about the budgets when we should be talking about how good the movie is? We haven't seen the movie. So how the hell can you do that?
But people get mad that we talk about budgets. I've seen this.
It's people who don't understand the business. It's people who don't. People who talk about why do you care about the budget? And Snyder says it too, which is crazy because Snyder.
I don't understand.
Snyder is the one person who I don't understand says that at all. Like people who say it in the chat, they just don't understand how the business works. I understand it, but Snyder, he should know that it dilutes your quality on your stuff, and it doesn't up your quality. It hurts your quality, and it also, like, look at what was that movie that we just talked about? Oh, the freaking Red One.
Yeah, Red One.
That movie, it's like $220 million, and you got, even if it's great, you got Dwayne Johnson, who probably cost $20 million. Chris Evans probably cost 20. J.K. Simmons probably asked for 10, and then all the producer fees. You probably got $130 million movie before you even yell action.
Yeah, and Matt Neglia from Next Best Picture posted his reaction to it, which has gone viral, and it's a pretty scathing takedown of the movie. So why did you waste all that movie? And and the thing is, they're lifting the embargo, the review embargo, the movie tomorrow night during the election. That should tell you how much they don't want you to be aware of how
it's like
terrible this
we'll
film is.
just put this here.
They probably told The Rock months ago, this is where we're going to drop the review embargo. And he's like, well, then I'm not picking a side in this. I'm not endorsing anybody because I need anybody to see this movie. I don't want to alienate it.
100%. So the Mission Impossible thing is, it's the last one. You can probably, and you can see Tom Cruise going, hey, I need an extra 50 million. They're like, no, he's come on, it's the last one. It's like for everything else, like, hey, we need another 70. 70? You think it's already at 330? Come on, it's the last one. Fine, get out of here. Well, you go jump off a building. So that's going to be the argument behind it. I just don't think any movie should be that much, especially in a movie that didn't perform as well as it could have.
Right. And just to hit some of the people who have it, and not hit in a negative way, I'm just saying about the budgets. Like, the reason we talk about it is because those budgets affect what they fund in terms of the more artistic films or the films that really kind of push the medium to the next level. Yes, visually, these directors with hundreds of million dollars might be able to push the technology to the next level, but what you're getting out of film, what you could create out of film, those other smaller films don't get as much of a budget. Directors, actors, producers have to work even harder to get money for their stuff from the studios because the studios are working at a loss or a deficit because they've spent so much money in these tentpole pictures that don't bring in money. And that's the negative around budgets. That's why it matters. Some of you complain about your teams paying for athletes a certain amount of money. It's the same thing.
It is. And I do think that the other thing, ironically, is I actually think that too much money actually hurts the quality of films. I think it makes it almost spoils directors, it spoils producers, it spoils directors, it certainly spoils agents, and by demanding too much for their clients, and then them in the same way you mentioned with athletes that that an athlete will say, well, so and so is making X amount a year, I'm going to make 5 more, and it hurts the budget of the team, and then they can't go out and pick and get up somebody else because they lost out on money because they spent too much money on that person, and it's the same type of stuff. But I'll tell you what you should be spending money on is Via.
Nice.
Oh, dude, Via is the best. And I wonder now with the new soundboard if you're gonna be able to hear this, John. But I'm gonna tell you about Via. I'm gonna tell you about the Perfect Gene. Tell you about both of them. We'll be right back. Here you go. As the crisp fall air now rolls in and those leaves begin to change, don't rely on pumpkin to spice up your life. You gotta embrace the natural power of cannabis this fall with Via. Whether you're lounging by the fire or you're exploring new adventures, Via's premium, federally legal cannabis products are your perfect companion. Farmed and crafted with care in the U.S. and trusted by over 500,000 customers, Via has a product for everyone. Via is well known for their premium THCA flower grown indoors in the state-of-the-art facilities and harvested at peak THCA levels to emphasize a natural aroma and flavor. They're constantly adding new strains to its website every week, as they're always receiving fresh new strains from their independent farm harvests. Via is also well-renowned for their award-winning THC and THC-free gummies. Yum. They sent me some. Loving it. Digging it. Big fan. Especially after I moved, I needed a place and I found Via. If you are 21 and up, check out the link in our description and use that code Kristian to receive 15% off. After you purchase, they're going to ask you where you heard about them. You got to support our show, and you tell them that we sent you. This fall. Enhance your everyday with Via. Come on, you are thanking me already. Well, it is cold, and it's here. And guess what? I'm living in the Perfect Gene. I love the Perfect Gene. They are so great. They're stretchy. They're soft. They totally trick people, by the way, into thinking that I have my life together. And you guys know. If you're watching, I don't. Am I telling you this because I actually love them? Or because this is what they told me to say? That's right. Perfect Gene paid me to say this. Who cares? But I can honestly say that these are awesome jeans. I love them. 400,000. What's that number? That's how many men have rescued their nuts from stiff, unforgiving jeans, all thanks to the Perfect Gene. They have enough stretch to accommodate Thanksgiving dinner, and they're comfy enough to wear all day watching football. Plus, even though they feel like sweatpants, they look good enough to be your go-to pants for date night. I love them. I love the fact that I can wear them. My wife goes, whoa, you look good in those. I'm like, yeah, that's right. I look good. That's Perfect Gene. I can move around in them. They're stretchy. They feel great. I get compliments on them all the time. Stop crushing your nuts in jeans by going to theperfectgene.nyc. Our listeners will get 15% off your first order, plus free shipping, free returns, free exchanges, but you got to use that code BIGTHING15 at checkout. 15% off for new customers at theperfectgene.nyc. Use that promo code BIGTHING15. You're going to purchase. They're going to ask you where you heard about them. You're going to say, from Kristian Harloff. That's right. Big thing. Please support our show and tell them that we sent you. F your khakis. Get the perfect gene. All right. I am thrilled to have both the perfect gene and Via. We're very blessed with the sponsors that we have. And when we have the opportunity to get ones like that, I jump at the opportunity. But man, I'll tell you, this is the reason I chose to run those two in particular, John, at the same time, is because the other night when I was out at dinner, the one I was telling you about. So I was out at that dinner. I was wearing Perfect Gene. Got a lot of compliments on them. I always do. But I was in the middle of a conversation. I was talking about, I was talking about my sponsors, actually, because someone else was asking me, like, what I did and how, all these different things. And I said, I got to tell you, I am so thrilled. And I've never seen the audience so excited with Via. And they all, every single person, I said, wait a minute. You have a cannabis sponsor? I said, yeah, and every one of them took the code at the end of the night. I saw in the damn chat room, everyone's like, please keep them around forever. I'm telling you, I want people to. They have like the sleep ones. Holy moly! Like but it does. Sometimes you have the gummies and you wake up and you're like, no, it just felt it's wonderful. It is. I am so excited. Christmas gifts for everybody.
Come on.
That's it. So, the other thing that I guess this report came out the other day, but as we were talking about with budgets that could be actually, I feel like this budget could be lower, even though you might think it might be higher.
Okay.
Is Warner Brothers is planning a Game of Thrones film.
Yes. Yeah.
Which is an interesting thing in general. And I feel like they know how to spend over there. When it comes to the HBO Max properties. Warner Brothers Picture has reportedly been quietly developing at least one film set in George R. R. Martin's epic Game of Thrones fantasy universe. But then George R. R. Martin started tweeting, and they told him they're not doing it anymore. No, they didn't write that. The project is said to be in very early development right now, and no one is attached, no director, no writer, no cast. However, the studio is keen on getting a Westeros story into cinemas. That makes a change from when Thrones was on the air. Prior to the pandemic and to Discovery's purchase of Warner Brothers, HBO strongly resisted the idea of any film tie-ins as they wanted to preserve the show's HBO property status as prestige television. A lot has changed since then. Long delays on the next book and a poorly received final season have taken some of the shine off the franchise, which the spin-off House of the Dragon hasn't been able to restore. Yeah. Multiple spin-off attempts on the small screen are underway, and while still drawing big numbers, it's not the golden goose that it once was. Similarly, executive regime change at HBO and Warner's has led to an increased willingness for properties to jump between film and television, as seen with the currently airing The Penguin and next month's Dune Prophecy. One possibility that would be a draw would be a film set after the HBO series House of the Dragon, and all other TV spinoffs in the world are prequels. I think this is a smart idea.
Okay.
I think it's a smart idea. I think that if you're gonna, it's ultimately what I think. What Star Wars tries to do, right?
Yeah.
They just haven't had a movie come out since 2019, but it's ultimately kind of what they do. You put some of the movies that could land in the theater, you tie that back to stuff that's happening in TV, and I think it's a smart move for this world, and I think that it should come after House of the Dragon and maybe tie some stuff together, or make it beforehand and do it. What's it, Aegon the Conqueror, or whatever is it? What's his name?
Yeah, they've talked about that.
Like you do that also. I'd be interested in that. But I like the idea. I think but it's one of those things too. And depending on who you can get a cool actor to be in it and get some excitement behind it. But it's the same tired conversation for some of the people. It's like, don't spend too much on it. How are you feeling about this? Do you think it should stay on television?
Well, no, I like it on television. I wouldn't mind a feature film if they did it right and told a self-contained story, because there's so much mythology and so much history with Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon. I think one of the things people enjoy the most about watching these series is being able to go and explore what actually happens with these characters in the books and compare and contrast versus the books versus what you see on screen, and learn more about the mythology, have the maps up for themselves to follow where everyone is going and where all this stuff is happening. And that's tough to do in a movie, because obviously you're stuck in the theater. You're not going to be sitting there looking stuff up on your phone while you're watching, or pausing the film so you can look stuff up to get a little more context. So I think there's a little element of that's lost in the viewing experience. That's so much fun with Game of Thrones. But I also look at this season 2 of House of the Dragon. What happened to it? Zaslav told him, hey, cut it to 8. We're going to cut the big battle. We'll put that episode in season 3, because then we can add that to the budget of season 3 and come out ahead. So that's my concern is like, what are we going to get, a glorified TV episode, or are we going to get a real feature film?
Right.
And we've seen this with Downton Abbey. Like, you could argue those films, all three of those, or I think it's two of them. There's a third one coming. I thought those were good films for what they were, but they were extended episodes of the show.
Sure.
So you're just doing that in a theatrical context and you're enjoying that. But we've seen other TV to film stuff that hasn't worked. The X-Files stuff, other things that have made the jump, and they have not really fared well. So I think it all depends on what director they get, what story they want to tell. And I think what you said, the actors, like what actors are they going to attract that want to be part of this world, who haven't been part of the Game of Thrones world, that'll bring that kind of Game of Thrones energy, you know?
Well, the talent will be super beneficial this time around. As we always mention for a very long time, it's not necessarily the movie star that brings the butts into the theater. However, you put a movie star in Game of Thrones, and then you get a lot of interest. Like, I just, because I'm in a warrior kick, Tom Hardy's going to be in Game of Thrones, and he's going to be in there with so-and-so, and she's going to be in it, and he's going to be in. You're like, okay, what does that look like? And it's the Mad King story. You're like, okay, wait a minute. What's that all about? You know, then you can really drum up some interest for it. And you can justify some of the cost if you're going to do $150 million movie for it, but you should keep it at that, because there's no guarantee that, because it's never been in the theater. This goes back to our previous conversation of why it's so important to be a little conservative with it and say, all right, look, we know it's Game of Thrones, and we got to and it's going to look big, and it's got to be epic, and we got to spend a little money on because you don't need huge $20 million actors in order to do this movie. You just don't. You can spend a little bit and still do, because it's Game of Thrones. You see someone on a dragon or whatever it might be. I think it's a smart play, though, by Warner Brothers to bring in a little bit more. They have an IP on their hands that can make some money in the theater. They should utilize it.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, and certainly Zaslav said that coming in, right? When he first took over the job at WB, he said there are IPs that we're not exploring thoroughly enough that we should be making more money off of. And that's why we get the Harry Potter series coming. This is another extension of that. So the overall idea has been to explore that. So it's not surprising that they're doing it. It's just we'll see how it works. And like as the article points out, people didn't like that final season of Game of Thrones. They liked the first season of House of the Dragon. They were disappointed
that
the second season didn't have two more episodes.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. So, that's true. I understand that.
We'll see how 2025 that series happens. So yeah.
Oh yeah, there's that one that comes out in 2025, and that is a big. If that one delivers also, and then you've got both that, the third season of House of the Dragon to anticipate, but if this one is kind of like, then that's gonna dilute the brand a little bit. For sure. It's so. But what they did that was smart was it the Naomi Watts one that was
they canceled it.
And they said
it wasn't going to work.
It's not quality, not going to be something and they canceled it.
Yep.
Good move on them. They took a little bit of hit because they filmed, I think, the pilot, and they said, said, no, we can't do this. It's not quality. We have to wait. And then they bring in House of the Dragon. I liked both seasons very much so, to be honest with you. But
Me too.
Anyway, we've got even more to talk about. But John, to let you know, you won last week, as you know. Last week, nobody could catch you. Nobody came close really last week.
Even the two-man teams couldn't handle it.
They couldn't do it. Roxy was by herself. She did okay. She not too bad. Wednesday, I think we did the Renzi Felice interview, which we aired. But then Thursday, Mike and Steph, they couldn't do it. And then Coy by himself couldn't do it. So so you did it. You beat him. Right now, you're setting the bar again. You're at 28 before we've even gotten to the question section. So you're at 28 already. So
come on, people. Let's go.
Box office. Now, we discussed
Coy has he's on a show. He's on a network with 1 million subscribers. I'm surprised he couldn't get enough people. That's shocking.
You do that.
Hey, Greg Alba, you remember me? Anyway, go ahead.
Well, you want to be on his show? When do you have time?
He can ask.
When do you have time to do that?
He's Latino. He can ask another Latino to be in his show. It wouldn't kill him.
You have time. When you don't even have time to do this. You don't have time to put your freaking politics show on. You're still doing
yeah. Speaking of which, that's coming very soon for sure. Yeah.
I believe it.
Shout out to you. I'm just giving Greg shit. I love to bust the balls.
I believe the channel's coming the same way I believe that my daughter's going to do the dishes tonight, like she says she's going to do.
Which one, Viv or the other?
Vivi. So, oh no, I'll do it tonight. I forgot to do it. I'll clean it. I'll clear the table tonight. So you better. You're not going to get any shit. You're not going to shit for shit. So
When is Vivi going to be 18 so I can
18.
convince her to do shows with me on YouTube?
I'm
Because
not
I love
letting.
you.
They're
I
not
love you.
doing. She's not. No camera for those kids. She probably. She wants to do it now. She wants to.
Yes.
She wants to be on camera now. But like I won't allow it to happen. What was
Vivi,
the?
DM me, Vivi.
Just, well, I don't want like I won't say where it was, but I'll say I'm taking Maisie, my 7-year-old. I'm taking her to Disney on Ice with
nice.
with friends, and then my wife says to Vivian, she goes, my oldest, she goes, oh, when they go, we should go to this place that they've been talking about. And Maisie goes, you should definitely do that. And you should definitely do that. And my wife goes, really? How come? She was like, because then I won't have to go. It was so good. And the terminology that she used, I can't remember what it was, but my wife and I looked at each other. She's like, I'm not going. Just like, I don't have to go. It was hilarious. All right, let's talk box office, because a lot went down, dude, that we were wondering if it was going to, and it did. So box office, Venom sinks and Here bombs. The first weekend of November, once a booming time for movie ticket sales, was more of a bust this year. Venom, The Last Dance, looks set to fall to $22 million in its second weekend, a decent drop of around 56% from its domestic debut, and will retain its crown as there are no other real contenders for now. Zemeckis' new, poorly reviewed, VFX-heavy, Tom Hanks-led Here is looking to be a bomb on impact, with just $5.2 million for the weekend. Ouch. Just over 10% of its production budget. It will debut in fourth. While Robot is back in second place with 6.7, while Smile 2 will be third with 6.4 million for its third weekend. Conclave closes out with 5. Out of the top 10, Liam Neeson's Absolution is looking to open at just 1.1 million, pretty much confirming his action film days are over. Warner Brothers are reporting grosses on Clint Eastwood's Juror Number 2, which is playing on 35 screens, did 90,000 on Friday night alone. That film scored very strong reviews, but Warner seems intent on burying it. Why are they burying it?
I don't know. I mean, it's a weird situation, because I agree, because they were going to stream it and then they gave it a theatrical release. But I think I don't know, maybe they don't feel like he's going to get over, but they had a contractual obligation to put it out in the theater. So they're like, okay, we'll do it, but we're going to put no press around it.
It's weird.
And what have you. Because it's insane that a Clint Eastwood movie has come out and like no one is talking.
It's like one of his last ones too. So that's interesting.
Sure.
All right. Well, that we'll see, and maybe they'll get more buzz on it. Maybe they'll push it around. I don't know. But the other stuff that really stands out, Smile staying strong. And this is why when you see people in the chat room, I'm going to answer your question again. Why do you care so much about budgets? Because Smile is a big success right now, because it costs nothing to make. It makes $6 million. Like, oh, that's pretty good. Another 6. As where you look at something like Venom, which costs a lot more, and you're like 22, it only made 56. It dropped. It's not going to make that much. It's like is the stuff that is important. Because if you care about that stuff and you want to, like, people who love Smile, you're going to see a third one for sure. Now, guarantee you're going to see a third one. People who love Venom, even if they were planning on not doing or planning to do another one, they're not going to do one now. It's not that it's a failure. It wasn't a bomb, but it does show, though, that the old guard, not only the Liam Neeson thing, Liam Neeson should have stopped making action movies 10 years ago. But if you can get paid for it and you can do it, what do you tell him not to do it?
Exactly.
It's fine. It's not him. It's the idiots that are paying him to keep doing those things. But that's not what I mean. The old guard of the Zemeckis days, the Coppola days, the Scorsese, not taking anything away from them. But if I'm a studio, I am not greenlighting one of these guys to put a movie in the theater. Not one of the original. It's just that this is an Apple movie. This is an Apple movie. This is a movie.
100%.
This is an Apple movie. This is a movie that Apple should have bought, put it on there in the same. Look at what George Clooney and Brad Pitt did. They got it. They put some of their movie. They put some of that in the theater, but that's not what it was intended for. It was intended for streaming. We might not have dug it, but did you ever wind up seeing it?
Wolves? No, I have not seen Wolves yet. No.
Okay, so a lot of people did dig it. I didn't necessarily like it, but it did very well for the streaming platform. That is where that movie should have lived, and this is a major. You couldn't imagine a Robin Wright and Tom Hanks re-team up after Forrest Gump. It would have happened in 2004. Would have been massive, but 2024, no one cares.
Yeah, I mean, it's a weird situation because look, his Pinocchio was terrible. It was not received that well.
Oh my God, I forgot he even did that. It was terrible.
Right, exactly. It was just horrific. The Witches remake also wasn't received well. Welcome to Marwen was crap. Allied was okay for what it was. Flight was great. I think Flight is the last good film he's done.
Yeah.
That was 12 years ago.
Wow.
And so that should let you know where he's at. And it wasn't like Zemeckis was on a run here, leading into Flight. With Christmas Carol was okay. Beowulf was not that good. People have
I like Beowulf.
You do?
Yeah.
All right.
I'm the only one.
People have nightmares from Polar Express.
Yeah.
So, it's you've got a law of diminishing in terms of Zemeckis. But here I saw a lot of pretty strong, like, negative reviews of that movie from critics that I thoroughly respect. And and I was not surprised to see that it didn't do well. I'm like so hesitating going to see that because I don't want to sit through something that makes me feel supremely disappointed.
Yeah.
But you got to eventually see it. So, but I thought Anora coming out did really well in terms of the box office for the limited screens it was on. That's a film I'm looking forward to seeing as well. But yeah, like you said, it was way too late for the reuniting it. And the concept is just one camera still, and all these things happen around the camera.
Right.
So it's an interesting experiment, but clearly there wasn't enough story there.
And they show the entire movie in the trailer. I mean, the whole movie.
Yeah, basically.
The gimmick is great, but it's just so hard to tell these guys who were like, wait a minute, I did Back to the Future, right? I'm not going to do a movie in the theater, and you're like, dude, that's just not what people are going to see in the movies right now. And he's like, don't tell me.
Here's what I think, Chris. I think listen, I know I'm not usually on the side of the studios with some of these things, but I have to say, executives need to stop living on nostalgia and their fucking feelings from when they were kids. Like, it's a brutal business. It's a ruthless business, and it is a fucking business. And so your job as an executive is to be like, listen, it was great 30 years ago. You want to do something again? Go and do it for $10-20 million. Go back to the beginning all over again. Show me you can still do it and create great work that we fell in love with when you weren't getting high budgets. Then you can work your way back up, old man, because the time has passed by.
So we say it, but look,
you get sued for that. But I think
sure,
you should.
I know what you're saying. I know, but look,
you're taking the space for young directors who want to come up and show you what they can do.
But that's not. I don't blame Zemeckis again. In the same way that I don't.
I'm not blaming Zemeckis. I'm saying the executives.
The executives for sure. In the same way that we were just talking about Liam Neeson, right? It's like, look, this to me, I don't think you're wrong about nostalgia. Where it's like it's Zemeckis, right? But I also think it's a bad read by. Let's not pretend that every executive is from their 30s to their 50s. Some of these executives are in their 60s. Some of them still think.
Yeah, agreed.
It's Zemeckis. It's Zemeckis. He can make it. It's Tom Hanks. It's Robin Wright. They can make it happen. It's like it doesn't work like that anymore. It does not work like that anymore because it is so crucial to get that audience that is scrolling on TikTok right now to want to see a movie, and that ain't easy. And they ain't going to see Robin Wright and Tom Hanks. And it goes back to what we just said a million times over. You make that movie for $20-30 million then who cares because then it made $5 million. Okay, not too bad. It costs like what, 100, 150? How much did it cost?
Oh, I don't know.
Something ridiculous. I think they said it's a very inflated budget. You can't do that unless you're going to put it on Apple or Netflix or something. That's what it's for. So it's too bad. And then as far as
50 million, it was made for
50.
Yeah,
I mean,
and it's made five. So I would have made it. I still would have made it for only 20. I still would have made it.
That's hard to, but that's going to be hard to do though. What do you pay? What are you paying Tom Hanks and
Tom? You want to work with
producer credits? I know.
Wait,
50 million.
Tom Hanks' big budget films from the last few years. Big budget.
It doesn't matter. I'm telling you that I think that proves even more so. If that movie was only 50 million to make, those days are over. You can't. 50 million because. I understand what the executive says. All right, $50 million. You do 50 million with Robin Wright and Zemeckis, and we post it out. 50 million. I'm not looking at I'm not doing what I normally do. I'm not going like, what are you doing? Why would you greenlight that? I understand the gamble. I just think that the gamble did not pay off and is too tough. So I think it just proves that it doesn't work. But I can't. If it's $50 million, I can't blame them for giving it a shot.
Yeah.
I would have gone. I would have done probably the same thing. I'm sitting in that position as Zemeckis comes in with Tom Hanks and Robin Wright. I go, oh my God, $50 million, but I got Zemeckis, I got Tom Hanks, I got Robin Wright reuniting. Can we make this happen? Can we market? Oh, it's a cool like kind of gimmick. Oh my God, what do I do? What do I do? That's a tough one. If he's like $100 million, no, Robert, we can't do that. 50 million. I'm like, oh baby. So I get it. I get how that happened. I just think it was a mistake.
30 years later.
I know. I understand. I get it.
25. I capped it at 25.
Still, I understand the dilemma. I do. It's so yeah. It's like what do I do? What do I do? You have Forrest Gump and Jenny walk into your office with the director of Back to the Future, and you go, oh man. And if it is a younger exec. You go, oh man! I just told Bob Zemeckis no, and he's telling me he's going to make it for 50 million. Every other budget that they're trying to pitch him for 100, he's going to do 50. Right around November, the Thanksgiving, oh, it's going to be a holiday thing. I could hit, and then you see the dailies, and you're like, oh, fuck. So yeah, that's a tough one.
Well, look, any studios that watch this show, if you're looking for an executive that you can hire right now who's willing to tell these old fogies that they gotta do lower budgets, come and give me a call. I'll gladly take a 6-figure salary to sit in an office and tell these guys to work harder.
You would never want to do that. I saw it happen. You watch less movies than you think.
Yeah, it's true. Well, the irony is that I think Tom Hanks is is back in a groove again as an actor.
Yeah.
Like I really enjoyed him in the Greyhound. Was it the Greyhound one that he did?
The Netflix
Finch?
one?
Yeah, the Apple one. Oh, okay. Finch and Greyhound, those were both Apple.
Okay.
Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood was fantastic. That I thought, yeah, Elvis, maybe you can make complaints, but Man Called Otto, I thought he was fantastic in that movie.
Oh, so, that's the one. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Tom hasn't lost a beat, and it's actually becoming an even stronger actor as he gets older, and it's fun to watch. But yeah, this one just didn't appeal to the older crowd who they were hoping to get into the theater.
Yeah, I think that's the trick, and it just didn't work. I think they're all the older crowd's going to go see Gladiator too.
Fuck, Tom would have held my hand and go, come on, give me 50.
Come on. And you would have said yes. There's Woody. Come on. Last story here before we get into your questions.
Oh, yeah.
And that is the new Pirates film.
Hey.
It is looking for a late 2025 start. It's going to push into 2026. Earlier this year, Jerry Bruckheimer confirmed that 2 different Pirates of the Caribbean films are in the works. From the indication given, one will be a straight-up reboot with a whole new cast, and the other is a female-centric film with Margot Robbie slated for the lead. One of the two, likely the reboot, was originally penned by Chernobyl and The Last of Us creator Craig Mazin and original Pirate scribe Ted Elliott before a rewrite by Jeff Nathanson. He also indicated it's unlikely Johnny Depp's Captain Jack Sparrow would show up in either, saying it's a reboot, but if it was up to me, he'd be in it. Now, World of Real reports that an untitled film in the franchise is targeting a late 2025 production start in St. Vincent Island. No further word on casting or personnel at this time. To date, there have been 5 films in the franchise for the original in 2003, though to Dead Men Tell No Tales in 2017. Previously, it wasn't clear if they would try and get Johnny Depp back or go full reboot. I will tell you this, and I'm not talking about any opinions on anything that happened in the stories or in the news or in the trial. We're talking about 2025, 2026.
Yeah.
You got to put Johnny Depp in this movie.
I mean,
you got to put him in a movie. You put him. Now, look, there are going to be people that don't want to see him in it, and there are going to be people who protest and don't want to check it out. There's going to be a shit ton that want to see him back in this role and see this as he's back, and it will get him back on track and his fans. This would be a big win for the studio as far as financially goes. And even Bruckheimer, who's producing the damn thing, wants to have him back in there. I think if you're going to do 3 Pirates movies, you got to have him in one. And I think if they were smart about it, instead of and I get how big of a star Margot Robbie is. I love Margot Robbie.
Yeah.
But if you put Margot Robbie in a Pirates movie before you put Johnny Depp in one, you're doing her no service.
Yeah, you're doing her a disservice. Yeah, I agree with you. Because you're putting her up against that and lining her up for the pro Johnny Depp people to go after her. And
But if you have him kind of pass the torch a little bit with her and then give her her own movie, people go, oh, okay, Johnny endorses this. This is so I think it's a bad move to not have him in any of this. Nobody's going to care. He made those movies.
Yeah. And people want to get mad about that. And I totally understand that because I think people have a right to feel however they feel about him and the Amber Heard situation. But clearly not enough people, I don't think, would have an issue with it if you were to go that route and put him back in. People are certainly forgiving. People have, that's a situation where it was between him and her, and none of us witnessed it. None of us were in the room. None of us know. So the fact that there's people on both sides of this makes it's just a toxic situation between both of these who got to be people who got into a bad relationship, and things happened, right? And not a lot of people can verify one way or another because they didn't witness it. It's just his word against hers, right? And that's the situation there. So when you remove that out, it's not like it's how can I say, it's not a clear-cut case of one way or the other. So the fact you've got that kind of nebulous situation, I think, allows you to bring Johnny back into the fold. That being said, though, the last Pirates film with Johnny, it's not like it blew the doors off the box office. So it could be also that Johnny's a little long in the tooth anyway.
Well,
bringing him back and putting in this.
But wait a minute. Wait a minute, though. You got to remember, when he was in the last movie he did was 2017.
Right.
He's
in it.
But yes, he's in it. But he's got a lot of people now that support him way more than they did beforehand.
That's a fair point. But you also got a lot of people that don't.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. But you do have the people who maybe didn't even see it. They just want to go out and support him. They want to. You forget how big that whole thing was. I mean,
which one, the movie or the
trial?
The trial.
Because
the trial
and he was, and if you look at it, like, again, separate your opinion of what you think, whatever. Too, you can't deny that most people were on his side.
Yes, it seemed like it. But then afterwards, you had other people come out who were like Lola Glaudina, who spoke about their experiences with Johnny, and those documents came out. So some people who had been on his side from what they had seen now had to take a second look at the situation and weren't maybe necessarily on his side. So yeah, it's tough to say where the situation stands now with Johnny and putting him in the movie, but you can understand Bruckheimer wanting to.
Yes, for sure, because it's going to make them. It's everything about this has been money. Okay, so we can get to your questions now, because I feel like, John, I think you're setting the bar again. I think we're like 42 already. So already at 42 questions before we even got into the questions. So before we do that, I want to tell you guys real quick about our friends over at AG1 who have been telling you guys about forever. Our friends at AG1 and, of course, BetterHelp. Let's talk about both of them. Here you go. This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. I want to take a second before I even start this, and I want to thank my buddy Mark Ellis. Mark's a guy that I've known for a very long time. I get a chance to talk to. Since I moved to New York, I speak to him all the time, the same amount of time I did when I was in LA. He's a great friend. He's someone who's always there for me, and I love him to death. I love him like a brother. Now, the reason I bring Mark up is because this month is all about gratitude. And along with Mark Ellis, there's another person that we really don't thank enough. That's ourselves. It's something hard to remind ourselves that we are trying our best to make sense of everything. And in this crazy world, that ain't easy. So here's a reminder. Send some thanks to the people in your life, including yourself. BetterHelp it's online therapy. Roxy Stryer talks about it all the time, how when I suggested it to her, it has changed her life dramatically. People in my family change their lives dramatically. It really does help. So if you're thinking of starting therapy, you got to give BetterHelp a try. It's online, it's designed to be convenient, it's flexible, and it's suited to your schedule. You fill out a brief questionnaire, you get matched with a licensed therapist, you switch therapists anytime, no additional charge. So let the gratitude flow with BetterHelp. You got to visit BetterHelp.com/bigthing today. You get 10% off your first month. BetterHelp, HELP.com/bigthing. AG1. AG1. I'm always excited to talk about them because you're looking for a holiday gift, you got it. Now, the perfect present is the gift of health. AG1, it checks the box. I heard about AG1 when I started doing podcasting by myself. They had said, hey, check this out. I tried it out. I loved it. And they've been with me. If you've been listening to this show for 2 years, then you have been hearing about AG1. That's how long they've been with me. I ditched everything else that I was doing. I was never a vitamins person, and now I'm just AG1. It helps your gut health. I've got better sleep because of it. It has kept me healthy. So there is something great for me what I do, and I still have had this same Zoo Cup that I've been telling you about forever. I mix it up with water, 1 scoop, done. That's my day. So, this holiday season, try AG1 for yourself or even gift it to someone special. It's the perfect time to focus on supporting your body with an easy and surprising delicious daily health drink. And that's why I've been partnered with AG1 for so long. Every week of November, AG1 is going to be running a special Black Friday offer for a free gift with your first subscription, in addition to the welcome kit with the vitamin D3 and K2. So make sure you check out drinkag1.com/bigthing to see what gift you can get this week. That's drinkag1.com/bigthing and start your holiday off on a healthier note while supplies last. Thank you to our friends over at BetterHelp and, of course, AG1. Been with both of them for quite a while. And as I always mention with Roxy, she talks about how much BetterHelp helped her. And we remember being in the movie theater. She was really just bummed out, recommended them. She has been with them ever since, helped out tremendously. So know what you're talking about before you just talk the nonsense. And then there was also AG1, who I've been with. I mean, I'm just such better health because of them. And I just love it, the energy, all that. So links in the description. You want to help out the show, that's how you do it. John, what's going on with the channel, man?
Oh, yeah, my channel, man. Head on over to youtube.com/John Rocha Says, The Outlaw Nation. Come and subscribe there. So much going on. We're going to put our Penguin spoiler review episode up a little bit later on with me and the Geek Buddies, breaking that one down. We got Hot Mike later on this week. The Jedi Way will be this week. Winston and I are going to hang out, do this little spill the tequila later on. So there's a lot happening on the channel as well. And maybe tonight or tomorrow night, there's something happening that's really big. I might be doing a live watch along there or someplace else. So look for some more announcements coming down the road there. Just throwing that out there.
Something going on?
Yeah, maybe.
All right. Yeah, the UAP hearing on November 13th.
Hey.
I'm so...
Wait. Yeah. Wait. Are you watching the Netflix Manhattan Alien Abduction series that's on? I might be watching that this week. Have you watched this? Are you into this?
No, you don't remember that. This is the same thing I had the conversation with the other day. The abductions and all that stuff, I don't say whether or not I don't believe and all that. It's for me, it's more so, which is why I feel like you and I, if you ever looked into some of this stuff, it's the military stuff and the stuff going on with the politicians and when you've got Chuck Schumer out there talking about NHI and using the term of non-human intelligence and it's not covered by the mainstream media, that's a concern, whether you believe it or not. It's the fact that this is the Senate Majority Leader who's talking about this stuff with a Republican side to side with him and Mike Rounds. And so you've got there's just a lot going on. There's different people that are covering this thing. It's about the only bipartisan thing. There are people who want the information out there. So that's the stuff that's fascinating to me because the mainstream media doesn't cover it. It's what I normally cover. There's that stuff that is interesting, but it's not the things that I do. There's other great channels that do that.
Yeah. Hey, look, I've believed in UFOs since I was a kid. Yeah. So to me, I used to rent books out of the library to read about what people saw and what they experienced. Unsolved Mysteries, that old school 1990s show, used to cover those things as well. And the new Unsolved Mysteries on Netflix has a few episodes about UFO sightings and about Roswell, update on the Roswell stuff. So there's a lot of that stuff that I totally hear you. Yeah, and I hear you about alien abduction and the aliens or whatever. I mean, it's where you stand on that Communion, that great book from Whitley Strieber, like those things. I understand that completely. So yeah, I'm in your camp that those things exist and they happened. And we need to find out if there was cover-ups here. And more and more footage comes out, more and more, I would say, testimony comes out that speaks about things that they've seen here that the government won't be hiding. It's certainly a valid thing to experience or to explore, rather.
Well, ask me about Tom Cruise real quick.
Tom Cruise. What about
the Top Gun guy? The Top Gun guy?
Yeah, the Top Gun guy.
What? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that guy. He's great.
All right. So we got questions. We got a lot of questions coming in. John, you're starting already. As we start, this is always a good sign. You got 45 before we even begin the questions. What can you said? You've always putting it on, making sure people have a tough road to climb. So
people tell me all over social media that people hate me, but look, it's surprising people showing up here. So maybe they're lying to me. I don't know.
Or maybe they like to. I think there is one in here that that I think that will prove that might be true.
Well,
So I'll
yeah.
read it.
I mean, of
I'll
course
read.
it's
I'll
got-
read it anyway, just so I'll let you.
Please do.
go-
I'm not
go
afraid
nuts.
of those things. Go ahead.
Ewok. Why did they never make a sequel to Stargate? It was huge hit with a massive world building potential. Get Russell and Spader back for small roles alongside a ragtag team of young popular actors. I hate to sound like a broken record. I hate it, but it right now, because they'd make that movie if they were going to do a sequel for it now, they'd make it for $200 million, and it's like off of a property. But a TV show for that, I know they've done a TV show already, but a TV show,
pretty legendary.
yeah, the TV show would be pretty good. To reboot of the TV show the way they did Battlestar, that'd be interesting.
It's a good question. I mean, because the movie was made for 55. It made $200 million back in the 1990s money.
Yeah.
Why there wasn't a sequel is a good question. There might have been. I think there might have been some straight to DVD sequels, but I mean, you're dealing with Roland Emmerich, so Emmerich doesn't really do a lot of sequels for whatever his feelings are. Look how Independence Day 2 started. Although I do like that movie as a guilty pleasure. I know a lot of people don't. Perry used to give me shit for loving that movie or liking that movie, but Roland's not really built to do sequels. So
Right.
it might just be that he didn't want to and didn't see the logic and they didn't want to go forward with it. Or there might be a rights issue. There could be all kinds of things why that did not get a sequel, because you're right, it should have.
It's a good movie. Ewok, who says, also, Kristian, you should check out the excellent 1994 movie about Roswell with Martin Sheen and Kyle MacLachlan. You can find it for free on YouTube. I've heard it was pretty damn good. I've never seen it though, but I'm curious how accurate as far as the Roswell stuff and what they covered. Unless it was like a fictional tale. I don't know. Ian Davis, what were the moments of the Schmodown where you really knew that you guys had some traction? What you guys were created was incredible. Who were the key players that helped to blow it up? Well, I mean, not just because John is here. I would say John is absolutely one of the guys who helped blow it up for sure.
Okay.
You were the only one?
I mean, I'm just going to say I'm the top one. I'll say right now, the top mother.
You helped. You definitely were the one who was able to encapsulate the exact.
It's nice you guys can answer questions. You needed personality and characters, and that's what I brought.
Yeah, the WWE feel that I wanted, you got it immediately, even though a lot of people didn't. You got it right away. But I mean, hard not to say Dan Murrell.
Of course.
Clark Wolf, very instrumental in the beginning of the Schmodown. And it was tough for her too, because when you had all these big personalities that were mostly kind of dudes, she came in and she kicked ass when she came in right away, and she was able to fire back. So Clark Wolf was huge. Rachel Cushing, yeah, really, really big. And I think that the moments, the Schmodown, I mean, the one that always got, it was
Riley. You can't discount Riley.
Riley for sure. Riley for sure. Riley was
ultimate good guy.
Yeah, he set the mode of what a champion should be. Right.
Sure.
But I think that I really would say, I think that the one that I said, oh, this could be huge, was when Roca played Merle for the title in that first match, and the amount of views that it got, the hype that it got, the people who responded to it, the reaction it got when John won it, the live events, like that led up to the live events and that stuff. So I think that's probably why.
I would say so. Look, listen, I know I can come off egotistical about my contribution to the Schmodown because I take a lot of pride in that. But the matches themselves, that's for other people to decide if those were big moments. So if you say it's a big moment, me and Merle, then I can't do anything but say, okay, that's awesome to hear. I think the live shows really helped, but I also think the personality and the respect that people had for the critics who are taking part in it. I mean, don't forget the great Drake, Matt Atchity. There's so many great critics that were part of it. Yeah. So important.
Okay. So the next one, Mike Joyce. What's up, Mike? Out with the old, in with the new. We need a new way forward with Alien. Ridley needs to hand it to the next generation of filmmakers. I think you feel the same way, John.
I hear you, Mike.
Evil John Madden.
Hey,
I was the Muppet Swedish chef for Halloween. Why is it an offensive Swedish accent? Why is an offensive Swedish accent different from Apu in The Simpsons? Because he's Indian? By the way, they're all, I'm not doing that. They're all, the Simpsons are all yellow and they're not voiced by actors with jaundice or Asians. Well, I'm gonna follow up his because he's the one that comes after you. Okay. Do you want me to read it?
Good.
Do you want me to
let me answer this one, or should I answer them both?
You answer them both. Do you want me to read it as is, or should I do
read
the?
It as
Are
is.
you
Let's
sure?
Go.
You don't want me to abridge it? I can abridge it and make it nice.
So let's
all right. This is not me writing it. This is Evil John Madden.
I know.
Okay. I love it when when social justice warrior John
SJW.
yes, twists himself up to defend it. You should see Vogel's face on Geek Buddies when he tries to tie everything to social injustice. Respond.
You do know Michael is gay, right? And Michael is one of the big social justice warriors of our crew of friends. So you can chop your cock off now because you were dumb. But this is the situation of it all. We've been friends, Mike and I, for 3 decades, almost 3 decades. Kristian can attest to it. We've battled about everything. And sometimes Mike is on the SJW side. Sometimes I'm on the SJW side. But we're always looking at whatever that stupid term means. We're always looking at those things. So he's first one to talk about the need for diversity. First one to talk about the need to respect LGBTQ plus person. One of the first people to talk about respecting the idea of respecting diversity within when you cast and doing it right. So I don't know what this fool is talking about of clear limited intelligence. But let me address the Simpsons thing, which I think is a valid point to bring up. You know, they may be yellow, but they are basically subbing in for white people. That's why, and that's why a lot of people see it that way. And the Apu thing is because Indians have consistently been experienced racism going into other countries for any number of reasons, for their color of skin, for their culture, for the way they bring things in. That's why it's different. No one's the Swedish, first of all, Swedish is white, so let's put that on the table. But no one is like going, oh no, the Swedes are coming in, for God's sakes, you know. And so it's a different situation. You have to look at things in context. That might be hard for you because it takes more intelligence, but it is possible to look at things in context and be able to assess them correctly. So there you go.
Man, I didn't know. I couldn't imagine that was going to set you up. So I think Evil John Madden got out of exactly what he was looking for, though. So
exactly,
Mallory Garrett. John, since you enjoy documentaries, did you see PBS is dropping a new one from Ken Burns about Leonardo da Vinci this month? Really excited to see it.
I did. I finished off the Hemingway one. I love the Roosevelt's one, and I'm looking forward to that one. And if I can recommend a documentary here for Kristian, you might be interested too. Yep. There's a Nat Geo, and it's on Hulu now. They dropped the documentary for Endurance, which is really awesome documentary about how this team is going to find the Endurance ship that Shackleton used to try to cross Antarctica way back when in the early 1900s or late 1800s. But go and take a look at that documentary. I watched an hour and 40 minutes. It's really amazing. And they juxtapose it with the actual journals from the people that survived that trip with Shackleton. So I think it's a fantastic new documentary out for people to enjoy.
All right. So this is the next one. This is Gareth Tussin. I watched The Apprentice as well as Honora at weekend. Enjoyed both. Seeing Heretic whilst you're live. Opinion on them on those films? It says he's not a Trump fan. So I didn't see Apprentice, and I actually haven't seen Heretic either. Did you see that?
How to see Heretic? Heretic is not coming out till next week.
Might have been dropped early. Maybe dropped early somewhere.
Maybe missed it.
I'm not sure. Yeah, but what did you? But did you wind up seeing The Apprentice?
I did not see The Apprentice.
Okay.
That's on my list here. So's Honora, but and I did not see Heretic because I had to skip my screening because it was the same night as Agatha.
Okay.
All along, so I decided to stay in and watch those and react to those. So yeah.
Okay. You know what I started watching? Oh, it was the Aubrey Plaza, the My Old Ass movie.
Oh yeah, I heard it's good.
My wife bailed on it within 20 minutes, but I really like it. I'm gonna finish watching it for sure. But she was
probably like, duh.
She just was watching it. And she was like, she's just like, yeah, this is one of those things. She thought it was like The Lobster. I'm like, it's not like The Lobster. She's like, yeah, there's these kind of these ideas of like just too weird. You're visiting yourself, and I'm like, it's fun. And then she just bailed on it. So, Mike Joyce, The Apprentice movie was great. I was worried it would be too biased like Vice, but it wasn't. Sebastian Stan and Jeremy Strong are terrific in it. Definitely worth watching it. Also, favorite movies where someone takes someone under their wing and they end up surpassing, betraying them. It's a good one. Trying to think if I got to think of the ones that I'm sure there's one that it's too easy to say.
Well, I would say The Godfather because I think Michael Corleone surpassed his father in terms of the scope of the empire. He didn't backstab his father, but he certainly expanded the empire of the Corleone family. So it did surpass his father in that way.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I have to look. I mean, does Wolf of Wall Street?
Yeah, who would surpass? Who surpassed?
Well, no, because I was thinking of Matthew McConaughey, but he doesn't turn on Matthew McConaughey. I don't know. It's always, it's questions like this that are always so great, but I always think about the answers when the show's over. Cause like we're in the middle of going through them. It's always like put together a list. Oh, I should have said that, you know? And so I'd have to see a full list of it and go, oh yeah, that one for sure. Artem, Shakaraman. Do you think Marvel and Star Wars treat Disney Plus as training ground for writers and directors before graduating them to movies for the movie theater release? I think that there's a little bit of that. I think there's some of that. I mean, I wish that Bryce Dallas Howard would get a feature film already at this point, though. I'll tell you that. We didn't really talk about Skeleton Crew, you and I.
Oh, you want to go at it? Okay.
Why? Did you love it?
I love that trailer.
Okay, so I don't think it's a matter of going at it because I think that
said you look like you were taking a dump while you were watching the trailer. You didn't like
people are idiots. I was watching. I looked at they didn't even listen to what the hell I said. These morons. Someone's like, "Oh, Dad, it doesn't feel like Star Wars, so maybe it's not. You don't realize it's for kids." I said at the end, clearly this is made for children, which could be fun to watch with my little one. It just feels like a totally separate adventure. It feels like something J.J. Abrams wanted to make or something like that. And it seems like that Amblin type of, and it seems like it could be a fun kids adventure movie. It doesn't have a Star Wars tone. It doesn't mean like, well, it's an old man holding on to what Star Wars should be. No, in the same way that Andor feels like it's made for kids. Andor is made for kids. Obi-Wan burning in the screaming, and you know you have like that whole fight that was made for children. It wasn't. It's got a children's thing to it. But people, when you don't love what they love, they turn into fucking assholes in the same way that they do when they hate. Like the end all be all holier than thou, everything is awesome crew can stick their heads up their assholes. I can't stand them. I can't stand them. I'm just.
Wait, who's that? The Everything is Awesome crew?
I'm just saying, people who take that thing. If you don't, not just people who are loving. You love a thing just to love it. You're not bothering anybody. Then who cares? But because I didn't feel. I watched the trailer and I said, it looks like a good show. It looks like it just doesn't feel. It doesn't have that Star Wars feel. My main point of it was, and I don't think you disagree with this. Do you think, though, as good as you might think the trailer looks, with the misfire of Acolyte, no movies, all the stuff, is this the show that they should do next to get all the fans back on board?
Yeah, I think they thought they had a hit with Acolyte.
Right.
And they thought this is a perfect thing to say. Now that people are back in love with Star Wars, we'll hit them with this that has shades of New Hope with it. I mean, come on. It has shades of New Hope. Some of those shots look like something in the Millennium Falcon. You have a holographic message at the end. You have a Jedi in a bar saving people who are out of their depth from things in a bar. I mean, like it has all the thing within it. So I think they thought Acolyte was going to be a hit, and this is going to be a perfect follow-up to that to get people fully back in love with Star Wars. And they clearly not in that position now, but they can't do anything but release the show. So
right. So I think it goes back to the question: so do I think do they treat it as training ground? I think that. I don't know about training ground as much as it's like, hey, if you want to be involved in our world and help us with a couple of things, it's like, oh, we loved what you did with it. We want to get more opportunities. Sure, I think absolutely that they use it for that.
Yeah, I think Steph Green should have a feature film as well. I've loved her episodes that she's directed. So,
Luke Starkiller, hey Kristian and John, I think Rocky would be a good one to react with Sam. Well, those are some of the movies that Sam actually has seen. She loves the Rocky movies. My wife, however, has only seen the first or second one, but she doesn't remember any of them. So I think that I will probably watch those with her for sure. But yeah, Sam has seen those for sure. Derek Johnson, just throwing some support. Thank you, Derek. Mad Sinister McCall, on a career question, a teacher got upset with me because I wrote I wanted to be a rapper, but I misspelled using one P. Any embarrassing stories? I can see what you're doing there. Any embarrassing stories in general? I mean, sure, there's been embarrassing stories. I mean, sure. The only thing that I would say that it's not necessarily something like that, but what I will say is I remember my friend, my old roommate, Adam. He texted me and he's like, "Do you remember that one time we just moved to LA, and we were at it's a Kodak structure, but it was different back then. You know where they do all the premieres and stuff. But we went there, a bunch of us, and I don't know what happened, but there was some kind of event. And we were all my group of friends. We weren't there for the event. We were just there hanging out, and they all got pushed to the side by like the security and the cops and everything to the side because they had to. You guys can leave, and I got pushed with the crowd underneath this thing. I go, I'm not part of this. I go, those are my friends right there. Like, no, you can't cross. You can't cross. I go, but I'm not here for them. I'm like, can I just go see my friends? I'm leaving. They're like, no, you got to stay here. I'm like, I need to go. My friends are going to leave, and I'm not part of this. So like, no, you got to stay. So I went, fuck this, and I go to run to them. I didn't even take 2 steps before I was tackled by 6 people. I was on the floor. I didn't even try.
I wish I'd seen this.
I thought I would get like halfway and then break free. I didn't even get 2 steps. I was on the floor. Luckily enough, I didn't get arrested. That happened too. They just said, "Get out of here, you idiot!" And they put me with my friends, and it worked. But like I didn't get hurt. I didn't get hurt either. It was very surreal.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know if you have anything
embarrassing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I once tweeted that Star Wars shows should allow more people of color on their Star Wars shows, and I got in trouble for that. So yeah,
well, there you go.
It's embarrassing. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Yes.
MCP Scotty. I watched Hot Shots for the first time in ages last night. It was more hilarious than I remember. You're right. Lloyd Bridges killed it. Everything. What I wouldn't give it to be 20 years younger and a woman.
I loved you in Wall Street. It's so
Hot
good. Shots is great.
He was oh god, he's so good in that. Lloyd Bridges. Don't worry, we'll tape his favorite show. He won't miss anything. It's so good. Jeff, you hear anything? It's so good. All right. Luke T1 TTV. Hi. Waiting till Penguin finishes, then I'm gonna binge. Yeah, I think what I'm gonna do, because I wound up still haven't seen the Agatha finale.
Okay.
And episode 7 of Penguin I missed. I'm gonna watch 7 and 8 together and just do reactions to them together.
Okay.
Yeah, because I 7 good.
7 is good. It's kind of like, when you're at the beach where the wave pulls back in before it smashes.
Yeah.
7 is basically that.
Okay.
It's basically that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. This is the next question here, and this is from Derek Johnson, who says, I agree about the Gray Jedi. You cannot have both sides of the spectrum be so extreme with their beliefs. There has to be balanced middle. Jedi with not having love, Sith all rage and hate, too extreme on both sides. Yeah, I mean, it's just a matter of how it is absolutely going to, like, what's the lore? You know what I mean? Like, what's the lore? What's the?
Yeah.
It's like they're all religion and they're all different things. The question is, how is it portrayed, and do the rules make sense?
Right. Laura and I battled about this on The Last Jedi Way, because she is not a great Jedi person. I am, and she's like, no. If you're a Jedi, you're a Jedi. If you're a Sith, you're this. It doesn't mean you can't question things or explore things, but you are this. You're in pursuit to go back to the light. Whereas Gray is comfortable not going to the light and not going to the darkness, but sitting in the middle. And so I like the Gray more as a realistic approach, because it allows for more possible interpretations of both sides and recognizing the hypocrisy in the Sith and the Jedi. And so you stay kind of taking the best of both that works for the situation, because your
camera went out. Your camera went out.
All right. Sorry about that. It happens.
Yeah.
But you're ultimately trying to do good. And that's the kind of way I look at it. So yeah.
Okay.
That's mine.
Well, you get your camera back working. I'll go through the.
Can you see me?
No. No, you're like John Cena. Can't do it. So even if you want to,
hold on. Can I pick it? Can I do the settings? Oh, there we go. All right.
Nope, still not working. All right. So why don't you just come in and come out again, and that's fine.
Oh, okay.
I'll get to the next one. Okay. So next question here, and let's see if we have, and that last one. Thank you so much for that last question, by the way. And if we and I think, who was that? That one just came in from, that was Derek Johnson. So the next question, let me see. I can see you.
Yeah, if it does it again, then I'll have to.
Well, the only thing that I'll probably have to do is what I assume is that because you just came into the room, I probably have to put you back in real quick. So hold on, everybody. Yep, that's what I thought. So give me a second. Everybody's going to see that, and then it should be 2 seconds here, and then John should pop up right now. There you go.
Cool.
Perfect. Okay. So we go back to this question, and it is from Gene Burst, who says, hey, guys, if you could make a great spoof movie, which of these 3 directors would you pick? Tarantino, Nolan, or Spielberg? Also, director you choose will love it. If If you can make a great a spoof of their movies. If you could make a great spoof movie, which of these three directors would you pick?
Yeah, which of these three directors would you trust to do a good spoof movie?
Oh.
I would say Tarantino myself.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant, which I kind of like the question also, is what spoof movies of their movies would you want to see? Like all their collected spoof movies, like a Tarantino spoof movie would be interesting. Also, the director you choose will love it. I would probably, I'd probably agree. I'd say Tarantino spoof would probably have the best. Although I think John was going after him on Twitter also.
Yeah, what are you coming after Dune for? Saying you don't want to
I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. Simon Section. Kristian, I can feel your anger. R.I.P. Quincy Jones. Oh, yeah, the great Quincy Jones passed. Also, we didn't cover that, but now we did. He was in his 90s, man. Full life.
I mean, this guy has been around since Miles Davis in his youth.
Yeah.
All the way through The Color Purple, Michael Jackson. People don't know he produced Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Right.
So, through his company. So there's a lot with, and he composed the Sanford and Son TV theme song and a number of movie scores and soundtrack.
Legend. Carlton Rudder, London Calling, back from Spain. If you could only watch movies or TV shows for the rest of your life, what would you choose and why? Jesus. Hashtag, he's got, I'm not going to do politics overall though too, but you can see it. You can see what he has in his thing. All right. So we, if we look at TV and movies, I think 15 years ago, there's a no-brainer answer, and it's movies. I think it's movies. Yeah. Today, I don't know. You get so many, the way that it's built, and it's so much more cinematic these days. I'd probably still take movies, but it's not an easy choice.
I think I'd have to agree with you. Movies have inspired me more than TV shows have. So, but TV shows now or the last 3 decades have really gone to almost cinematic levels. So yeah, it's a tough choice, but I'd still would probably go movies.
Yep. You're almost at 70 already, my friend. You're at 68.
Oh my gosh.
Starting off strong this week.
You,
Jean-Philippe Gorin. Hello, guys. Who is your favorite director of all time, alive or dead? For me, it's Stanley Kubrick. The Shining and 2001. The Space Odyssey are perfect movies, in my opinion. He's just incredible. Oh, man. Favorite director of all time? I mean, I think it's look, Nolan's up there for me. There's so many of his movies. Tarantino's up there for me. Spielberg's up there for me. So, like, it's just harder to say because Spielberg has done so many movies.
Yeah.
Nolan has a set amount. Tarantino has a set amount. So it's easier for them to, their resume is more solid. Yeah, they haven't done even a quarter of the amount of movies that Spielberg's done. So, so I take those three. I don't know about where you go.
Yeah, I mean, Kurosawa is my number one. Akira Kurosawa. I mean, just because I just love all of his movies, pretty much, and the epics of which he's directed. I would say
Scorsese's in there too. Yeah.
Scorsese definitely is in for me, and Coppola. I think for what he did in the limited time in the 70s, I think it's some of the greatest output you're ever going to see. So yeah, those would be my choices for now.
Mad Sinister McCall, Beth Snyder here. John Roca cast as Thanos. Feige screams, shave him bald and dye him purple. Have you both been to West Virginia? I know Roca said he's from Virginia.
Virginia, not West Virginia. No, I've never been to West Virginia. Never been to Charleston, nothing like that. I have had friends from West Virginia, but I've never been to West Virginia.
I don't remember. I don't think so.
You'd remember if you went.
I don't remember shit.
On that.
I don't remember shit.
You'd remember.
I don't remember anything.
Lighting couches on fire.
Maybe. Armada. Ridley Scott should direct the sequel to The House of Gucci, House of Bobby Gucci, and Gucci Mane. Look at that. It would all take place on a golf course.
That's totally low budget.
Yeah. Have you talked to that fool at all?
No, not me. He doesn't. You would talk to him more than me.
I was talking to him during the playoffs. It was going back and forth.
Oh, nice with the Mets.
Right. Yeah, Mets and Yanks and stuff too.
I miss Tommy. I love Tommy.
He was the best. Armada, are you guys going to see Juror number 2? Yeah, I'll see it for sure.
Sure.
I'm curious about it, especially also because it got good reviews. So I'm excited. It's the Cali Kid. Who are you voting for? As I mentioned, there's no politics on this show. What? Yeah. And then we get to, what's the next one? This is from The Raven Effect, who stupidly says, Kristian Harloff for president.
Follows
it up. I said, John Roca for first lady. There you go.
There you go.
Yeah, perfect.
First gentleman, bitch.
Yeah, you wouldn't mind me there. Armada, any of you, you know, it's hilarious, by the way, speaking of my little one, who really is just the best. And I go to her, I was telling her, I was like, you can do anything you want, honey. You can be whoever you want. You want to be the first, I mean, it's, who knows, but as of today, I said, you want to be the first female president? And she goes, no. And I go, why? She goes, too much work. It's like a smart kid. Armada, any of you seen the new Apple TV Billy Crystal show? No, I didn't know there was one. Also, R.I.P. to Quincy Jones. Yeah, R.I.P. to Quincy. What's he doing in the TV show?
It's a serious show.
Oh,
it's not a comedy.
Drama?
So it's a drama.
Good.
Which Billy
good actor.
is good at dramas. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to it. He's promoting it. Please, Billy, get rid of that hairpiece that you're wearing. For God's sakes, nobody buys it.
His real one? He's a real hairpiece now?
He's wearing a hairpiece. Yeah, I saw him on Graham Norton, and I'm like, oh my God, stop it. You're old. Everyone knows you're old. Stop trying to hide it. But I heard good things about the show, so I'll take a look at it. Yeah.
Artem, Rock is in Moana 2, which comes 12 days after Red 1, a specific choice to make sure everyone forgot about Red 1 if it sucks. No, you got to remember that Moana 2 was not scheduled to come out in theaters.
Right.
It was scheduled for a Disney Plus release. So
it's going to be a series.
It was going to be, so they were going to break it up, and then they redesigned it and made it a movie. So I don't think that when he did Red 1 and when it was lining up, they didn't even realize they were going to put it out in theaters. So no, I don't think so. Yeah. Jason Crosby, I got to help my boy Roca take the week. 71's a good start. Good start.
Thank you.
Mad Sinister McCall, what is a fun fact about you? Wait, what's a fun fact about you not or we're not of? I don't know how that is. What is a fun fact about you we're not aware of?
There you go.
What's a fun fact that
what's a fun fact about you that people don't know?
I don't think that's what it was. That's not what he said. Is what is a fun fact about you that we're not aware of? That's probably what it was. That we're not aware of. Okay. I mean, I would always say that everybody does know about the WWE thing, so that's not really not aware of. Trying to think. I can't wink my right eye. So there you go. How about you?
I can't wink my left.
Oh,
so let's go with that one. I can't wink my left, but I can wink my right, no problem.
Yeah.
Let's go with that.
Now this is Corin K6. Everyone go vote tomorrow. Roca is number 1. There you go. Well, regardless or not, everyone should be going to vote for sure. Free pancakes, big balls, plushie merch in the works. Maybe add a little button in the balls with the voice lines. I gotta get that would be hilarious if we did that. The question is, how is it worth putting the money into? People, you remember, half the audience loves them, half the audience hates them. So I don't know. And then Roca used to be a fan, not a fan anymore. Jason Crosby. Jason Crosby. I went out and I saw Terrifier 3 Saturday, and to my surprise, the theater was mostly full. It's kind of wild to me. So I still haven't seen it, won't see it, but it did very well. Respect to that movie for you talk about budget and from what
$100 million.
And what I hear, quality filmmaking too is what I heard.
Jesus, can you imagine?
Yeah. Gabe Oliver 805. All this John Ritter talk last week made me think of an underrated film, Real Men. What do you guys have for an underrated comedic gem? So we were talking about John Ritter, and I sent, because Steph had never seen Three's Company, so I sent her.
Nice.
I sent her some of those clips and stuff too. An underrated comedic gem. I mean, I said it the other week, and I said that Hot Shots. Hot Shots is a movie that nobody really visits anymore because it's it's old.
I'll throw another John Ritter one on. Nobody talks about Skin Deep anymore, and Skin Deep is
a good
hilarious.
One. Yeah, it's a good one.
1980s film. Blake Edwards directed. Yeah. One of the best sequences with John Ritter chasing around or being chased by a guy who caught him cheating with his wife. Yeah. And they're both wearing neon condoms. Yeah, so you're watching condoms chase each other in the dark. Genius.
Yeah. Armada, how would you rate Don Rickles among comics? I mean, he's in the conversation in top 10 for sure.
Absolutely.
I mean, he's like, he's somebody that he just had that natural thing where that's who he was. He didn't have to be like, there are some people that are just like that are he was a comedian because he found the profession, but he would be that guy if he was a butcher. You know, he would be cracking jokes and doing that's who he was, and he was hilarious. So
he feared no one. I mean, he gave Sinatra crap.
He was
on
the best.
Johnny Carson. That's how fearless he was. We want to enjoy Don Rickles. Watch the deleted scene of him and De Niro where he calls out De Niro.
Oh,
for
it's
messing
great.
with
I've
the
seen it.
line.
I've seen it. It's the best. And the other one, he called out my girl Julia Roberts too.
Yeah.
It was. Did you see that clip?
Yes,
it's hilarious. She's like, you know, Julia Roberts lives right next door to me. Never come by ever. And she starts talking. Goes, you don't have any lines, Julia. Let's keep that quiet. No lines. So good.
If you can silence Julia, you know you got
like that.
Kind of respect.
Ronaldo Leon. What's up, guys? Hey, Roca. I appreciate listening to your contributions, especially the Cinephiles. How do you all see the content creator space in 5 years? Always changing. Always changing. And that is why I always tell people they should be changing with it. It's like if you just try to do the same thing that you were doing 5 years ago, 6 years ago, it will pass you by. You'll not to say that some of your audience and people who like you won't stick around, but you got to try to do new things, and you got to try to pay attention to what's happening. You got to try to do things that you like too. Don't just do things because that's what everyone else is doing. You got to do things that you think could actually be fun that you want to do. But I think I think short form stuff is going to continue to do more things. I think there's going to be different ways to monetize those things. I think AI is going to change things too. So I think there's going to be a lot of stuff. I don't know if you have anything different with that, John.
No, you're more successful at this stuff than I am, and you've been at it for longer than I am. Been rode through the changes. So yeah, I think everything Kristian's saying is correct. Kristian tries all the time to get me to understand the trends and do all this kind of stuff, and I'm not always on top of it as much as I can be. But there is something changing inside of me that wants to maybe just strip it all down and just go back to me like you did into a degree. And we'll see if that's what ends up being the motivating factor to start paying attention to more and more trends and doing things and taking more chances with the channel than I have in the past. So yeah.
Shay Markel. Hey fellas, happy Monday. Challenge for you. Name another showrunner that has had the run Taylor Sheridan is on with Paramount. Dude's on fire. I mean, you can't. You know, he's got with everything. He just comes out with a new show every other week that does well. So it's like
I think maybe Aaron Spelling or Norman Lear are the only two.
Not in the volume that he's had, man. And the volume with the amount of this guy's doing it like he's like 2 or 3 shows on the air at the same time. Those guys were doing it like one show and then another show and then another show, like, you know, within like years. But this guy's got like 4 or 5 shows on the air right now.
Yeah, we started watching Lioness for the first time a couple.
Oh yeah, you said you were going to do that. Good.
Damn good show.
Okay.
Damn good show.
Yeah. Mike Pelly. Kristian, did you watch the New Manhattan Alien Abduction doc series on Netflix? Very interesting. So many witnesses. I mean, maybe I should check it out. Both you and John said I should check it out. So that's on Netflix.
Just to hear New York people go, the fucker, he flew in the sky. I saw him fly in a fucking sky.
Prizzy, what's stopping Lucasfilm from getting a VFX intern to go back and polish up their dodgy VFX on Disney Plus? The poorly done CG Luke from Mando season 2, they could get it done in like 2 weeks if they wanted to, because it's the same thing, man. It's the same thing of like we already did it. We know what we're doing. You know, we would admit defeat if we went back and did it. And it's like, it's the same thing. It's just the frustrating nonsense. I feel so bad because my brother-in-law texted me yesterday about, I don't know, some Star Wars stuff. And it was about Luke and, about where he was, the Jedi. And I just remember like 10 years ago, I get that text. I'm like, oh, it's because of this. I was just like, I don't care. I was like, I don't care.
Yeah.
I just don't care. It's like, and I'll answer him back, but I haven't answered. I'm just like, who cares? Bam 86. Under oath in court, Depp said he would never work with Disney ever again, even for $300 million. It's not up to the studio. Yeah, we'll see. He didn't have a check for $300 million when he said that.
You can say anything you want.
Yeah, you can say whatever you want.
Yeah,
right. Because because you're under oath. You're under oath. They're not saying, okay, so you're under oath. You're never going to work with them ever again. Okay, that means you never can now. That's not how it works.
They got to throw him in jail.
Yeah, right. You said you're not going to. You're under oath. Shay Markel, I don't want to watch a Pirates movie without Depp, but I believe they can pull it off without him. They'd have to do like you said. Oh, he lost his camera again. What are you doing with that camera? What's happening?
Oh, I'm sorry, man. It's probably just the power here. Hold on, I'll switch to my other one.
It's a disaster.
Sorry.
You might have to go in and go out again. That's what she said. All right, so they'd have to do like you say and contain the budget. Yes, they're going to have to do that for sure. Yeah. Let me know when you come back in, unless you switch.
I will.
Yeah. Okay. Let's get to the next one from the great Tim Sim. Well, I'll wait until Roka comes back in, and then we'll ask that one because it's to Roka. Prizzy, more excited for the new Karate Kid movie than I am for the Cobra Kai finale. Cobra Kai got way too crazy. Suspension of disbelief only gets you so far. I understand that. I think that they gradually kind of kept going that way. So the fact that they kept going that way and it kept getting crazier and crazier, I was okay with it, and I understand. But I do understand that. John's back. Let me just put him back here, and then we can do it. John, basically, the person said that they were more excited for the new Karate Kid movie than they were the Cobra Kai, because Cobra Kai, the suspension of disbelief at this point has just been too tough for them. But I understand it, but they've gradually been getting there.
Isn't it the same people that are going to be doing the Karate Kid movie? So
no, they're not.
It's not Hurwitz or any of the guys.
No, those guys, they're not doing it. Machio's in it, but they're not part of it.
Well, I tell you, judging from that poster, I'm not incredibly excited about that Karate Kid movie.
Is it bad?
That was not a good poster.
Oh, okay. The great Tim Sim. Quick question to Roka. Okay. Washington Commanders, Jaden Daniels is a strong favorite for NFL Offensive Rookie Player of the Year. Hope everyone has a great week ahead.
Please. He's so good that they're starting to have conversations about him being MVP of the league with Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen. So that should tell you, yes, absolutely.
Shay Markel says, John, you're one of my favorites since Movie Talk.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, boy. I hope during the Carpenter movie, there's a post-fight interview, and the fighter says, I would like to thank Jesus. No, really, thank you. Jesus Christ. Is that movie out yet?
Not yet.
Oh,
it's coming. I think it's coming out next week. But, dude, if that comes out on digital, I think I might do a reaction.
I think you have to. The Cali Kid, what's your favorite political movie? I love JFK. I love JFK also. It's a complete fantasy, but it's like, but I mean, he makes up a lot of stuff. But like, I mean, and it's kind of a dangerous stuff. Some of the stuff that he makes up too, because it's like, I saw that as a kid. I believed all of it when I saw it.
Yeah.
So, but I would probably put JFK though. I think it's a pretty good political movie.
Yeah, I think JFK is fantastic. Yeah. I think Ides of March, the Clooney
good one too, with Ryan Gosling.
Yeah,
it's a good movie.
That is a good political movie.
Yeah, it's a really good movie.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah. Does The American President count?
I think that counts. Yeah, it's politics.
Movie too.
He's battling. Richard Dreyfuss, who's the Republican.
Yeah. So this, Dave's another one.
Dave is great.
Yes. Go Pie. James Cameron is one that always comes to mind in terms of money ruining the movies. Though the box office doesn't agree. I haven't been a fan of his outside of Terminator 1, Aliens, and True Lies. I get the sentiment. I understand it, but I do think that he puts in a lot I think he puts the money that he spent, you see where it goes, and you get performances out of it. He doesn't overstack it with talent. He puts talent in there. But he does it with high price talent, I should say. But he uses his money well. So I understand the sentiment.
Yeah.
GoPie says, T2 has since grown on me, but I saw 1 and 2 back to back when I was 13, and I thought it was a blatant ripoff of the first one. Well, I like the first one better also because I think the second one's great. I think the second one's a great science fiction movie and a great kind of action movie. But the first one's is a science fiction horror film, and it was terrifying as a kid, and I absolutely love it.
You talk about Terminator, right?
Yeah.
Because you're the reverse on Alien. Like you like Alien, but you think Aliens is better than Alien. Right?
I don't think it's better. I just enjoy it more.
Okay, fair enough. Enjoy it more. Fair enough. Yeah, I'm with you. I like the first Terminator more than the second one, only because I think Edward Furlong is so irritating in that movie. I don't care about him in the film, and that drives me nuts when I'm watching it. And that's why when what happened in Terminator Dark Fate happened, I was like, cool, I love this idea. I was so on board with that idea when it happened in the opening. I was like, yes, good. Thank God. Let's move on.
Yeah, understood. All right, John, you're 78, approaching 80, getting closer. Derek Johnson says, okay, for real, we need some merch for John that says chop your cock off. It has to be in the top 5 of Roka insults. Put that on a mug or a shirt. It's a good one. GoPie. I only made it through about half of the first Avatar before I got bored. Oh, man. And the half animated style is all uncanny valley for me. Again, I understand that. I don't feel that way, but I understand the argument. Sure. Okay. Next question here. We are going to get to Joey Pedris, who says, tips for being a better YouTuber. I think it kind of goes back to what we were just talking about. I think consistency is the number one rule.
Consistency.
That's the number one rule. You gotta make sure, because your audience is gonna want to know when you're gonna be on, when you're gonna do what's gonna happen, when to look forward to stuff, because there's so many other things out there, right? Paying attention to the quality of stuff and things, and when you have the means to, always try to up it, right? Like always try to do up your quality, up your you want to put respect into it. And the third is what we said before: pivot. Understand, you can do things. You're gonna talk about the things you want to, but look at the changes, and when the changes come, you got to follow them.
Yeah. People used to ask me that about podcasts, and I always say the same thing with YouTube. Be yourself, but like Kristian said, find the things you like to do,
right,
and be yourself, because people will gravitate to the energy of authenticity and joy. And if you like doing what you're talking about, or you like talking about what you're talking about, and you've got a personality, people will pay attention. Get a good mic. There are great mics for $100 that'll help you out. Get a good camera. There's cameras for about 200 you can get that are really good to start off with, and then eventually work your way up, as Kristian said, to improving the quality overall.
Yeah, and investment. Remember, it's just like the age-old thing. It's like you got to spend money to make money, right?
Absolutely.
And it's and look, I can't even tell you. There's so many times I've been like, oh, I make these choices, and I'm like sweating and going, and still recently, it's like, I mean, then then you have things that happen. Like today, my freaking Roadcaster craps out, and I'm like, ugh. That's another expense that I got to figure out. So it's like there's always something, but you just gotta, you want to do it, you just gotta engage. And speaking of engage, Nerds Engage gifted 3 memberships to three memberships, which is very nice. So we might even done more than that, but he did that last week. He did a whole bunch of memberships for people.
Nice.
Which was very, very nice. Thank you so much. 3 new ones there, gifted memberships. And then we have a whole bunch of new members. Thank you so much. Shay Markel. Personally, I'd love to see an E.T. spoof movie. I just think it's too far away from that, far removed from E.T. 82, it's like 40 some odd years to do it. So I don't know. And then Prizzy. Everyone should check out Hysteria. Great show. Do you know Hysteria? I don't know it.
I think it's on Peacock, but I'm not sure. I don't know that show.
Okay.
So,
Shay Markel. These movies you loved years ago but really don't hold up? Equilibrium is one of those for me. The gun fu is terrible now, but I used to love it. I haven't seen it since. I did love it when it came out, so I take your word for it.
I did not. So it is staying where it's supposed to stay for me.
Yeah, I understand. Derek says, Roca, you just did the most Virginian thing ever. We made a clear distinction between Virginia and West Virginia. We make sure to let people know we're not West Virginians.
Yeah, West Virginia burning couches, that's not us. That's Virginia is different than West Virginia for sure.
Prizzy says, well, back to Cobra Kai. I just think all the crease scenes are utterly ridiculous. Takes me out of the show. I loved Cobra Kai for years, but I don't know. It's feeling like Power Rangers in a bad way. Again, I get it. It's like, I think I battled with it at first, because the first season is definitely the one that's based in the most realism. The first.
Yes, 100%.
The second season, when they're training in the forest and they're bouncing off trees and they've learned, they're like ninjas already after a year in karate, I said to myself, all right, you've got to decide. Like, this is where the show is going to go. You got to look at it like a superhero show, or you got to look at it like, oh, this is not the show you want to stop watching. And I chose it can get more ridiculous. There's more things that happen. Like the fact that karate is almost like football in the Valley, in the way that people, nobody gives a shit about these things in the Valley for real life. But the fact that they did, and they know what they're doing. So I enjoy it that way because I've accepted it that way. But I understand how someone could feel the way that Prizzy does.
All these kids would be in jail right now for assault and battery, and they'd all be in debt.
Right.
They'd all be in debt for the hospital visits and what have you. So you've got to throw all that out as you're watching the show, because honestly, some of the leads don't do karate really well. It is tough to watch them do. And no offense to Mary Mouser or Peyton List or the other
Peyton List can throw. You don't think Peyton List can throw?
It's kind of, you can. It's, how can I say this? The choreography is so obvious at times that it looks like a bad wrestling match sometimes, pro wrestling match sometimes. Yeah. So that's my issue with the show overall. But I like the performances. I like the actors, and Jolo has been fantastic on the show. So that's what keeps me going. And Zapka and Machio, those are keeping going.
Gentlemen, this is from Dancing Dogs.
Okay.
Gentlemen, if DC really goes with an older Batman, hopefully Hartnett, how tough will it be to cast Robin? Super tough casting Damian, yes? No, because if you cast, you don't have to cast somebody that is a super well-known person. You can just find some. There's tons of actors out there. Just find someone that nails the audition.
Yeah, I mean, my thing is that we might be looking at our Robin and Renzi Feliz. That's just my own personal opinion. I don't know if that will come true or not from the Penguin, but that's kind of what we're looking at. Lost the parents, looking for guidance, and has tasted the wrong side of the law. May go with Batman once he shows up. So I don't know. Just throwing it out there.
I want him as Miles. I definitely want him as Miles.
I like that idea too.
Yeah. Mad Sinister McCall. Glad Daniel Day-Lewis isn't in Terrifier. He'd kill. That's good. That's good. That's good. Derek Johnson throwing his support as he always does. Thank you so much.
I put on my clown makeup now.
That's right. Ian Davis. Roca, you mentioned you served in the military as a U.S. Navy veteran myself, 7 years. It would be great to hear more about your service. Happy early Vets Day to you, brother.
Thanks, same to you, man. Yeah, 8 years in the Army. 8 years in the Army. But I never saw a theater of war, so I kind of, I'm Kristian. I bristle at those things. Like, I'm not in any case a veteran who saw action or anything like that. I served where I served. I was in military intelligence. I worked with the NSA there through Fort Meade in Maryland. I had top secret clearance. It was a great 8 years. But people who've seen war, those are the people I respect, and those are the people I thank for their service, even more so than the ones I already thank for serving at all.
Yeah, Jason Inman being one of those people for sure.
Yes,
too.
Jason Inman, 100%.
Yeah. He still had one of the best burns in Schmodown history with Snyder. Remember that? What he said he was being actually someone who's actually served in war, and Snyder just went like this. He put his hands up. He knew he knew he just got slapped in the face. It was really, really good. Okay, let's see. So this is from Dancing Dog 60. You guys ever seen the Michael Caine film Blame It on Rio, where Caine's character falls in love with his best friend's 17-year-old daughter, 1984? No, I didn't see that. Have you ever seen that?
Yeah, I think it's Demi Moore.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, you can't get away with that now.
Not today.
But,
Not
that
today.
was
I'll tell you here, and I don't ever talk about shit like this, but I will say, do you ever see that video that was going around with Demi Moore making out with the kid?
No, I haven't seen this. Is this from a film or real life?
No, it was like some kid at like, I haven't seen making out, but like some birthday party or something. This kid's at a birthday party, and the kid can't be more than 12 or 13 years old. Maybe 15. Maybe 15. What? And just look at it. And she kisses him, dude, and it ain't like, oh, it's sweet. Like, because sometimes people give a sweet little kiss on the mouth. It's like, and look, I'm not gonna lie. If I was 14 years old at the time, I'd be like, hey, Demi Moore coming in. But it's like, it was a little weird.
Oh, this is from way back when.
Yeah, did you see it?
She was like, oh no, I'm looking at it now.
Look at that clip.
Damn,
that kid ain't
what?
You know what I'm saying? Like that, you've never seen. I'm surprised you've never seen that.
That's a makeout. Look at the pan to the mom.
That's not good.
Who is that? Is that Jeff Zuckerberg? Who is that?
That's not good. Devin Lott.
Ow.
John Ritter, 2 words. Stay tuned. Great movie.
Oh yeah,
great movie. Love that movie.
Don't
Frizzy.
disagree.
Speaking of JFK, 11/22/63 is a great show. 100%. Love that show. Flew under the radar. It sure did. Just rewatched it. I recommend. The 65s are so good. You've seen that show, right, Chuck?
Which one?
11/22/63 with James Franco.
No, I haven't seen that.
Dude,
the Kennedy one, right? Yeah.
Awesome. It's awesome. It's really good. Yeah.
Gotta watch that. Yeah.
Top Dorig. I'm not excited about the prospect of Scott making another Alien. As the saying goes, when Ridley Scott makes a movie, the gods flip a coin. Yeah, I understand.
Pretty much.
Javis, hey guys, Wicked is giving the same vibes as Wonka, and that movie was a huge letdown for me. Can you see similarities, or is it just me? Thanks. Are you watching that clip?
I can't stop watching the clip.
It's not good. It's not.
This is the old. Well, I don't know how.
I don't know how you missed
validate.
That. There's no way to validate that clip. It's not
I wish
good.
I was the kid. I wish I was the kid.
You say, but that's the first thing to think of, like because we're dudes.
For me,
but because you're dudes. Right. But like in the long run, dude, it's not good for a kid of that age to go through that. I don't care who he is. It's just not.
Hey, look, I was 15 when I lost my virginity to a 22-year-old. Okay, I have a problem with it. So
you have a problem with it. You don't.
I didn't have a problem with it, and I still don't.
Right. Anyway, it's.
I hear you though. I hear you. Can damage a kid. I don't.
It's a damage, and maybe that's just it's the dad in me, or I don't know. I just it's illegal. It's illegal. It was illegal for the girl that you did it with, and it was illegal.
I know
it's
it
illegal.
was, but I lied to her that I was 18.
Okay, but
So,
still illegal.
Yeah, it's still illegal.
Yeah. All right, Top Dog Rig. I'm not excited. Oh, you did that one. Okay. Javis. Hey, guy. Oh, we did that. So Wicked and Wonka.
Yeah.
Wonka to me is a movie that I will say when people ask me the question, I hope I remember this.
Yeah.
Is that when they say, "What's a movie that you didn't really love the first time, and then you got better and better?" Wonka is one of those movies that I got better and better for me. And I think maybe because I watched it with my kids. So I don't know. I feel I have to see because I don't dislike Ariana Grande as an actor. I just don't have enough to go by yet.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And Cynthia Erivo, I think, is a very good actress. I don't love the way she's been handling herself in the media recently, but that goes back to what we were talking about with like Johnny Depp. No, different situations, completely different situations. But I'm talking about when it comes to but it's relevant. It's relevant in the fact. What I mean though is that what they're doing outside of when they're filming in the performance itself. Sure. I'm going to go and I'm not going to go in there and go, I didn't like her tweets, so I'm not going to watch her performance. That's not fair. That's I'm going to go watch it. And I think that if she delivers in the way that I think she could, and then if Ariana winds up being like, wow, she was really fantastic, and it's as good as everyone else says it is, then I don't know, it might be pretty damn good.
Yeah, I mean, I have not seen one negative other than Drew Taylor. I haven't seen one review that kind of mentions some negative energy around it. Like that he said it was overlong and just a little too kind of fell apart near the end. I haven't seen it, obviously, but yeah, I mean, if it's great. I'll be happy for it, but I'm kind of nervous that it won't be. So we'll see.
I'm trying to think. I think that we might.
I thought Wonka was great, so I don't know why that person didn't like it.
I think we might have. I think we might have done it, John. I think you. I think it ended. I'm looking. I think you might have ended the day at 81, which is pretty damn good. It's pretty damn good. It's a good start. It's a good start for the week. Oh yeah, and well, I was wrong about Nerds Engage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You gifted 7 memberships to everybody. I'm just double checking. I'm going through all the stars and making the starred ones and making sure that I got everybody, so I don't want to miss anybody's stuff. But I didn't see anybody saying I missed any. So it looks like we got them all. That's it.
Okay.
So, John, you got a lot going on. Where people they can find you. They can find you at your channel. Just are you launching a new channel yet, or you don't know yet?
There's let's just say this. I've been working with this young kid. We've been developing a show that I'm going to do called Speak Up with John Roca. Thanks to Kristian Harloff for the title. I'll fully admit that. I think I might launch it on my channel to start off, and then we're going to launch it on YouTube.
Don't do that.
No,
don't do that. Launch
to build up the taste.
You got 87 fucking shows on that channel. Do your own channel. Do your own politics channel. I'm telling you. Don't do it. If
we get it squared away by today, it'll
right.
go up tonight or tomorrow morning. But I will be covering the election. I'll be covering the fallout, all that stuff. You guys know I'm into politics pretty hardcore, so look for that.
We do have one more.
Channel,
go ahead. We have one more here, and this is Kai, who says Tom Cruise,
the Top Gun guy. The Top Gun guy?
Yeah, the Top Gun guy. He paid all crew and staff during strikes, and that's why the budget is so high for MI8. Okay. Jury number 2 was mid, FYI. I guess someone who saw it already. Yeah. That is also very true. Marco says this, and he's right. The algorithm is going to mess with your channel if you start putting all that politics stuff on there. It's like, are you a movie channel, your politics channel? What are you? I mean, come on, Rogue. You got too much going on. Your sports, your movies, your politics.
That's what I'm saying. Things are going to have to things are going to have to get cut off in 2025. We got to be lean and mean in 2025.
Yeah, understood.
For sure. So.
All right. Well, thank you to John.
Thank you, brother. Great
thank
to see
you
everybody.
To you guys. Look, we're on Apple Podcasts. We're on Spotify. Anywhere podcasts are found. We're going to be back here tomorrow with Roxy and Brett. So make sure that you guys come in and check us out. Big 82 today for Roca. It's a good start. Very good start. And we'll see if Roxy has yet to win. Can she do it tomorrow? We'll see. But that's it. Thank you. Appreciate it. Again, like I said, check out all the other stuff we got going on. Please support that reaction to Warrior. I think it's the best reaction that we've done so far, and Sam's reaction is worth alone watching. I'm obsessed with that movie again because of it. So I hope that you guys have a fun time watching it. For people who've been asking for the reactions, the unedited reactions, members get that. and patrons get that. We have the Wild Robot unedited. We'll probably do the unedited Warrior one also. Oh, Nick Vaughn, not letting us leave. I like it. The makeup job on the face of Kreese's old sensei in this season of Cobra Kai was absolutely horrendous and hilarious. Fair enough. I have the same answer that I had before, where it's like I'm already so locked into the cartoonishness of it and all that, where they are and how they're doing that. It's like a superhero show to me. That's it. Thank you. I appreciate it. Appreciate you guys being part of this show. Thanks for being here. Again, if anybody wants to look at that Roadcaster, I doubt it, but I'm putting it out there because, man, Big Balls is dead. He's dead. All right. Love you guys. Appreciate it. We'll see you on the flip side.